Well, let's get back to speaking about metrology now, because there was an interesting thing that we chatted about a little bit yesterday on Technology Live, and then that we're going to get to now and a little deeper, was this idea of refurbishing.
Right.
And when we had our little tour here of the plant, we saw some of Hexagon's refurbishing actions. We heard a little bit about how that comes to the fore.
Yeah.
Very interesting. And we heard about what Hexagon's doing with refurbishing and making some not so pretty raw materials usable again and very, very pretty going forward.
Perfect. Okay. Well, let's talk about refurbishing a little bit. Any of you who have owned a CMM know that CMMs last basically forever. I mean, they're granite and steel, and mechanically they're pretty much like rocks, and they're going to last forever. So the question is, when does it make sense to buy a refurbished machine? Would you want to buy a refurbished machine? And we have an expert here from Hexagon Metrology who's going to tell us all about refurbishing, and this is Jim Flanagan. Jim.
Nice to meet you, Dick.
And what is your title here?
I'm Program Manager for Hexagon Metrology Services.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to throw the question out there. Why would you buy basically an old machine that's been prettied up?
Well, I'll go back to what you said about what they're made of. They're made of granite and steel, but that granite and steel has to interact and move together with it. It's got air bearings, it's got mechanical components that fail. Even though we're a victim of our own success, they last a long time, they do wear out. So we provide value by bringing those machines in here. We buy them in the open market. We tear them down right to the bottom and build them back up with all new components.
Okay, and we've got an example here of, I'm assuming these are two of the same machine?
This is before.
Okay.
And this is after.
And what are we looking at here?
Okay, this is a Microval PFX 454.
Okay.
It's a machine that was produced through the 80s and 90s.
And this particular machine is vintage?
This particular machine is like early 90s.
Early 90s, so
90s.
Maybe 20 years old?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And this is as it is?
This actually is not as bad as what we usually see.
This is a clean one.
Exactly. But what I've done is I've opened the hood, so to speak.
Okay.
And just so you could see some of the things inside, one of the main things that happens with CMMs, all CMMs, is airlines get brittle, they get oily, bad air supply. So what happens is when we rebuild them, a whole new network of airlines is inputted.
Okay.
So you can see that, I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but it's very yellowed and oily.
Yep, yeah, I see it there. Yep.
And on the new one, it's nice and clear.
Okay.
And free.
So basically what you're saying is that mechanically, I mean, obviously the granite's granite, that probably hasn't changed at all.
Right,
the steel structure is probably fine.
The basic frame is a good starting point. And
okay.
We build it up from there.
So what you're doing basically is ripping the guts out, I'm assuming the electronics, like
exactly.
you said, the hoses.
All new cabling,
okay.
all new airlines, air bearings are replaced, the whole works.
Encoders and scales?
Encoders and scales, yes.
Okay. So once you go through and do this, do you end up with a machine that's exactly the same as the old machine, or even better?
Actually, even better.
Okay.
Especially with this particular model right here. This particular model had Rolex drives. And the reason why they had Rolex drives was they wanted to be able to have it manual as well as automatic, DCC. Okay. But our market research found that not many customers use the manual aspect of the machine.
Okay.
And that happened to be a troublesome part of the component. So what we did was we redesigned it such as it's like the global,
okay.
the global image or the global advantage. And we put belt drives as opposed to Rolex drives.
Okay.
So it's an improvement. Improvement in performance, improvement in positioning, all the way around. Speed, it makes it a little bit faster.
Okay.
So yeah, we not only bring it back to life, but we improve it.
All right. Now, why would somebody buy? Why would they buy like a refurbished of one of these as opposed to just buying a new one? I mean, from what I understand, there's not a big difference in cost.
It's usually 25 to 30% lower than a new machine.
Oh, so, okay, so it is a bit. Okay.
And a lot of our customers that come to our pre-owned business won't even consider a new machine.
Really?
Which is funny because you get a lot of people that are just starting into the business. You'll have small job shops that they won't even look at new.
Okay.
They'll just look for pre-owned or look for used, and that's the key.
Okay.
We have pre-owned rebuilt by the OEM. They're looking for used.
Okay.
So there's a different connotation there because ours is we back it just like a new machine.
Well, yeah, so warranty and all that stays the same?
It's just like a new machine.
It's like a new machine. It's at 25% less, or maybe.
No, it's actually, if there's a 1-year warranty on a new machine, there's a 1-year warranty on our pre-owned.
Oh, I'm sorry, but the cost is about 25%.
Yeah,
right?
generally,
around in that
generally
area.
20 to 25.
Okay. So there's definitely some savings to.
There's value. Yes,
value in
there
there.
is.
Okay.
And not only that, when it comes to a pre-owned CMM that you're buying from Hexagon, you're not only buying that CMM from us, you're buying our support network. Whereas if you buy a CMM used, you don't know what you're getting.
Right.
It may look good when you look out here like this, but then when you get under the hood, you've got problems.
So is it ever the case where somebody buys an old CMM, off of off eBay or something, and then sends it to you?
Absolutely.
Does that make any?
What usually happens is they buy it on eBay, and they have problems with it.
Okay.
And then they have to call us, and then we come in there, and it's costing them actually more than if they came to us in the first place.
So basically, what you're saying is rather than go to eBay, is just
come to us.
Come to us and say, I'm just looking for a refurbished, whatever.
Exactly.
Is it often where they're looking for, maybe they're just familiar with a particular model and they're getting refurbished just because they don't want to have to train people up on something?
Yeah, what happens is we have customers that have had PFXs, Excels, the old legacy equipment that's still out there. They love it. They want another one. And they just call us up and they say, do you have any refurbished Excels that we could buy? Because they just love it.
What about the software now? I mean, these older machines are probably running ancient software. I mean, does that get all? Yeah,
a lot of these customers are using legacy software, and that they come to us, and we get them the PC DMIS and get them up to the current level of metrology software at the same time.
And so that license is included. The PC DMIS license is included with the.
That's another point. That's a good point, because when you buy a used machine on the open market like that, the license agreement requires that you update that license, because you're not the owner anymore.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah.
So even if you got a machine that was fully functioning, I mean, technically...
The PC DMIS end user license requires that you come to Hexagon and become the registered owner of that software.
So you'd have to pay for the license again. Yeah. So on top of
so if you come to us, you get that.
Okay, I got it. Show us a little bit about some. I see we've got some gunky parts stacked up here. These are parts of older machines.
Yeah,
this one, or
these are some components from the same model machine. As you can see, I mean, they're covered with coolant. They're covered with grease. You could buy this on the open market and not even know that you're getting this, and then you find out that you bought a lemon.
Yeah.
And you're stuck, and then you have to come to us, and it costs you more.
Yeah.
If you come to us in the first place, we can get you into a good running CMM for a good value price with the same factory back.
Okay. And just pointing, I'm just comparing the two. So I'm saying, well, looks like you've repainted it. It's gotten all new stickers. It's obviously been cleaned inside and out.
It gets
like you said, all new hoses.
Totally taken apart. Okay. All new hoses. It gets fresh paint. All new bearings. New belt drives.
Okay.
As opposed to these drives here.
And how long does it take to turn one of these around?
We can generally turn one of these around in 4 to 5 weeks.
Well, that's not bad. So do you do it kind of on order, where somebody says, hey, I'm looking for a PFX, and then you go out and find one?
We actually were searching the market all the time for CMMs.
Okay, so you got a warehouse of just old junky CMMs.
Yeah, we have an outside warehouse, and I have a person that works for me specifically that goes out to auction houses and out to private facilities trying to obtain CMMs.
And then, so somebody calls up, you happen to have it, and then you're saying 4 to 6 weeks turnaround, is that what you said? Okay.
Yeah, that's generally the turnaround.
Okay, well that's interesting. So, okay, well Jim, thanks for telling us about refurbished CMMs. I appreciate you taking the time on that.
Okay, great.
All right, okay.